Hello and welcome to the business news. Let's begin with our very first story. And the Kotoka International Airport says it has given out 209 acres of land at the Kotoka International Airport for private development. The green belt in front of the airport between the runabout and the Hajj village would soon be transformed into hotels, shopping malls, and other private developments. In other news, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Moses Asaga, has faulted the Town and Country Planning Department for the siting of fuel stations in residential areas. He explained the situation where the National Petroleum Authority becomes the last entity in the chain of approved siting of fuel stations does not help resolve the situation.
2016 Downstream Petroleum Industry Players Meeting, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, Moses Asaga, indicated the sector contributes 15% to the gross national product and offers thousands of employment. He also stated a price stabilization task force has been set up to monitor operations of fuel stations. The Petroleum Downstream Stakeholders Meeting is to help streamline activities of the sector to help bring harmony in quality and pricing. Speaking to Moses Asaga on the sidelines, the NPA boss blamed the Town and Country Planning Department for the siting of fuel stations in residential areas.
We have decided that instead of consulting the District Assembly first, or consulting EPA first, you rather come to the NPA, and when we go to inspect your site, we would be the authority to tell you that we accept or we reject it.
Moses Asaga stated the price deregulation has helped improve the liquidity and competitiveness, benefiting both the oil marketing companies and customers. He observed one of the benefits of the deregulation is viability of the now operating Tema oil refinery.
It is not just a magic wand that has brought Tor to where it is today and to have commercial viability. All is hinged on the fact that deregulation had come to eliminate subsidies, to eliminate forex losses, to also eliminate interest on loans. Therefore, there's now a better fiscal space for Tor to be able to operate, because previously, under the regulated market, Tor could not compete.
Well, still on energy, the Chief Executive Officer of Africa Energy Consortium, Kwame Jantua, says that downstream petroleum sector deregulation has introduced healthy competition amongst oil marketing companies whilst preventing the emergence of an oil cartel. Kwame Jantua indicated that deregulation has so far brought some sanity into the system.
Assessing the implementation of the Petroleum Downstream Deregulation Policy, Chief Executive Officer of Africa Energy Consortium, Kwame Jantua, stated the policy led to the removal of subsidies and ensured economic pricing of petroleum products will put oil marketing companies in business. The oil and gas expert observed the role of the National Petroleum Authority has been critical in making sure cartels do not emerge out of deregulation.
On the side of competition, you realize that the OMCs will be competing amongst themselves, and that is what we've seen since we deregulated. So, in a nutshell, I would say it has been a good thing to deregulate, although we still have the NPA setting a certain target price that the OMCs cannot go above. It's brought some sanity into the system.
According to Kwame Jantua, the deregulation system could be better.
I think education is key. It's a new thing in our petroleum sector. It's a new thing, especially in the downstream sector. Government also needs to be able to let Ghanaians see what role they are playing, because the perception is that government has, washed its hands completely off the downstream industry because of deregulation, but it isn't so. They are there to make sure that the structure is in place. They are there to make sure that MPO, the regulator, is also policing what is happening in the industry.
The downstream petroleum deregulation started on June 16, 2015, with oil marketing companies announcing their ex-pump prices for petroleum products. Exchange rate and crude oil prices on the international market are key factors in the pricing formula.
And we're going to stay a while longer on activities within the oil and gas industry because the Petroleum Commission will in June place a draft petroleum exploration bill and production measurement regulation before Parliament for consideration. The Commission has therefore engaged stakeholders to include their inputs and comments into the draft bill before it's sent to Parliament.
The Petroleum Commission said there is the need for regulations to mobilize the required revenue from the exploitation and production of petroleum resources. At the Stakeholders Forum in Accra, the draft, which is yet to be put before Parliament, was discussed to allow inputs. The draft includes guidance for the review of measurement systems for the new petroleum fields at the offshore Cape 3 points, direction for players in the upstream industry to ensure investors and Ghana mutually benefit from transactions.
If everything is written in black and white in regulations, it makes it easy. It becomes a good environment of doing business. If an investor is looking at two environments, one with very clear guidelines and the other one has not, everything being equal, the person is likely to go into the one with a regulatory certainty because the potential for future dispute is minimal.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Commission, Teo Ehurin, said the Commission took into consideration standards set by bodies like the American Petroleum Institute, American Gas Association and the International Standards Organization.
The comments will be collated, reviewed and as much as possible incorporated. They will then be sent to the Attorney General's Department for legislative drafting. A first draft has been done already. This will be done further, after which it will be submitted to the sponsoring ministry, which is Ministry of Petroleum, and then they then would send it to Parliament. We expect that this will take place next month.
The draft, after parliamentary approval, will ensure Ghana benefits from the exploitation of petroleum resources in the upstream industry.
Well, that's all for business.